Hey guys, welcome to day 18 of the IPL. Yesterday, another day, another last ball finish. Unfortunately, Dhoni didn't pull it off, but man, he almost did. What do you think of the game?
Yeah, I think IPL last 3-4 days has reached its peak. I think this is what peak IPL is. Every match has gone to the last ball. That's pretty crazy even for IPL standards. Yesterday was one of them. 48 required of 14, and I think only MSDNs and all MSD fans across the world know that 48 or 14 with him being there is not over, and that's what happened, right? Like Sanju pushed the game with the spinners. His trio spinners bowled exceedingly well, which we expected also. And then he kept sort of the Pacers last 2 overs, and that's where MS and even Jadeja for in this case came to the party, right? Like very close game, and Chennai is still not being that unfriendly to batsmen. I would say that is my observation. I would take.
Yeah, surprising.
Yep.
But yeah, Chepauk games will be interesting, fantasy wise.
Yeah, actually, like I now yesterday I loaded a lot on spinners backing the fact that spinners will come to the party, but then it was okay. It was like they did well, but it was not like they completely blew away. Like especially in Chennai, while Chennai was bowling, I think Pacers got more overs, right? Like I feel than the spinners. And he trusted both Akash and Tushar finished their 4 overs quota. Even Mangala, he had got injured. That's why he went off the pitch. Otherwise, he would have also maybe got a third over. So
Yeah,
that way, I think MSD is still keeping the cards close to his chest. So not a very easy to predict what Chennai will think going forward. But opposition, you can still see, right? Like they loaded with three spinners, all of them bowled out. So I think still oppositions will come with all their spinners strongly there, but you never know what MS how he will think through the match.
yeah. And fantasy wise, loving the unpredictability, man. Like boarding up on your Gaikwads and Yashasvi and who hits Mr. Padikkal and your Rahane and whatnot. So it's fun. A lot of
Yeah,
scope for like surprises. Conway
absolutely. A
came
lot of
good. Like
people.
basically, whoever people didn't tend to buy came good yesterday.
I know. Yeah, I think yesterday was a shift from like batsmen to bowlers, and but still like your Joss Butler came to the party. So if someone is going for captain and vice captain safe bets, I think still they would have navigated because of a good Butler performance in fantasy. But yes, if you have gone for Yashasvi and Gaikwad, sorry guys, that was not the game for you. This
Yeah.
was not the game for you.
All right. With that, let's segue into today's game. Punjab versus Gujarat again. Two very good teams, two teams who can go all the way. Good, very good fantasy picks as well. So yeah, starting lineup, I think Punjab straight up gets boosted a lot with the return of Livingston, um, who last year, of course, was like a fantasy no-brainer as we call it in every game. Does he come straight into your team?
Yeah, I think he's been dying to come to IPL, right? Like his visa did not get cleared. He's been posting, he's been doing so. He's like very very upbeat about it, I think.
Yeah,
And that sort of when a player is upbeat, I generally tend to do it. Like I generally tend to get them straight in my team
yeah.
unless they are showing the articles are around more that Livingston is still trying to get used to it. He needs practice and all that. That puts a red flag on me. But right now for Livingston, I don't have that sort of a red flag.
It's a
And
little
it's
easier for them as well, right? Like Lucknow has the problem कि अच्छा Mayers मार रहा है, Stoinis
correct.
मार रहा है, तो Quinty को लाए कैसे? I think Raza showed promise first game में, लेकिन last two games he's been average. So I think Livingston walks in, and that brings up a major dilemma, right, in terms of fantasy if you're looking for just one or two picks because there are so many options. But any other changes? Does Rabada come in for release now that the four-wicket haul is in the past?
I think Ellis still gets a game because of that 4 wicket innings was just amazing, right? Like he blew away the opposition, and because of that, I think he might get one more game. And Rabada is a wait and watch. Like if you are waiting to make your team after the toss, then yeah, then Rabada. or unless you have a choice. But if not, then I would say wait and watch for Rabada right now.
Yeah. What about Gujarat? Any changes? I think Hardik comes back. Um,
Absolutely.
but I think Yash Dayal, unfortunately, just that those 5 balls just um, ruined his near-term career. But I think he goes out today. Let's see. They might make a few changes, right? But I think Hardik's expected to be back today.
Absolutely. No, I think with Yash Dayal, the thing is, I understand it was extremely, what happened was like it will completely shatter his confidence also. But I think Hardik has shown in the past that he backs the players.
Yeah.
And Yash Dayal will definitely not get the 20th over if it comes down to that. But I think Yash Dayal just being that impact player, that sixth bowling option,
Yeah.
so he might still keep to the team because I'm not very sure uh, just on that like a buzzer Rinku innings he'll be judged so soon. That's what my personal belief is. But yeah, if he's already had 3 red games as we can see, so if this might be his last chance, if he shows the he has carried those demons, those monsters with him from Rinku's innings, then yeah, I don't see him playing the next few games. But yeah, today's game, I think Yash Dayal still makes it to my team because otherwise it will be show that then it sends a message to the team, right? Like you really have a bad day and you are not in my reckoning. Hardik might not do that.
Hmm.
Uh, Other than that, I don't see any major changes. They are a well-oiled machinery. They should have won 3 out of 3 if not for Rinku's special knock. Uh, so yeah, I see them retaining their core and just going with this team, right?
Yep.
And Vijay Shankar absolutely on fire. So yeah, looking good for Gujarat.
Yeah. So okay, let's go on to picks then. I think goodbyes again. I think we have some very obvious names, starting with this man. So if we flip back, if you look at their scorecard, that's just a one-man show. Like Sam Curran, 20 runs, and then I think the next highest was like Jitesh or someone with 5 runs.
Extras, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
that was
Singh
second
was
highest.
third. Yeah, yeah. So one-man show. I mean, what an innings! Like absolutely blew my mind. And he's done well in all the games. Serious orange cat contender, looking for his place in the World Cup. So he's right up there. Um,
And he's at home, right? Mohali, they are playing at home. So yeah, I
uh,
think Shikhar is absolutely a no-brainer right now. The form he's in, the team that he plays in, right? Like it's not a well sorted middle order where he can just go bonkers. He has to play that anchor role, and that makes him a fantasy delight, right? Like in terms of points, because the points you get for every run. So in
yeah,
terms of fantasy, absolutely no-brainer.
like Warner, right? Warner might be losing Delhi the IPL, but he's winning people fantasy.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think some more names like Gill again, continuing his form, looking super comfortable. So he's a short pick. Then
And
of course,
Rashid, right? In
yes,
all round.
got like Rinku Singh just took all the highlights of that game. So people, I don't think anyone, like someone who didn't watch the game probably doesn't even know that Rashid got a hat trick.
I know.
But the yeah, man, like what a game change! Like he's just done it again and again. He can just flip a game on the top of its head, and he did that again. Um, and yeah, he's got wickets every game. He's got 8 wickets in 3 games, looking really good.
Serious purple cap contender, absolutely. Like all the
Um,
leg spinners are again coming to the party as usual in IPL, and Rashid has been in. Like you just can bank his over in the end and expect him to change the game, right? And you in terms of fantasy also you get points. So yeah, Rashid also is a absolute buy in this game.
yeah. What's the next name that comes to mind? Arshdeep comes to my mind.
Arshdeep and Shami, I think, both for their respective teams are someone consistent, get overs in the power play, get overs in the death. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
this team is very similar, right? Like if you look at it,
Yeah.
Shikhar and Gill do a same role, and Arshdeep Shami do a same role. I think even Karan and Hardik do a same role.
Yeah.
So it's like quite similarities.
Yeah.
I think
And those are probably the next two names, the ones you just took, Hardik and
absolutely.
Karan.
Yeah,
Yeah. Livingston would have come in good buys, but he's just coming back. Um, I think he might be an excellent X factor, right? Like
absolutely. No one will
jumping on
have.
him early, right in his first game. He's an absolute beast. Last season, he has shown it time and again. There were games where he would take like 3 wickets, 440 or 15, 20, whatnot. So he's just
Yep,
a
yep.
different beast. Um, cool. I think that gets our big names mostly out of the way. Who comes next? I think two names straight up come to mind, right? One is like an obvious pick because he's uncapped. That's Sai Sudarshan.
Yeah, right.
Second name that's I never thought in my wildest dreams would come, but then it is the ODI World Cup year, right? So maybe he did have to come into the picture, and that's
Vijay.
Vijay Shankar. God, like last game he started pretty slow, and I was like, oh man, this guy is doing his thing again, and then he just took like I mean went berserk
Absolutely.
basically.
He did play a match-winning innings, which was upstaged by Rinku. Otherwise, that sort of hitting at the end, taking them to the score they reached. I think Vijay Shankar is definitely an X factor because still a lot of teams wouldn't back him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But what
I
what's so like I mean obviously he's had two good innings, but what happens with Hardik coming in with your Miller there if Gill and Sai Sudarshan play out till maybe like the 12th over, 14th over. Do you think Vijay Shankar comes or do you think then it's gonna be Hardik Miller and uh
yeah,
look just
I think it will be Hardik Miller. It won't be
yeah,
Vijay
that's
Shankar
the risk
still.
with him, right? In terms of
Absolutely.
fantasy. And also, I'm surprised he is like the impact player. Like, so his bowling's just out of the window right now, looks like.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's bowling. He's not like bowled at all this IPL. It's been three
Yeah.
games. So yeah,
That makes
don't
sense.
see.
I mean, so like I always tend to go with players who come in the top four. And like if it's an all-rounder Indian, non-uncapped, he's not bowling, he might come late. It's just a risky pick. But yeah, it's definitely an X factor pick.
Yeah, it's a risky pick, right? Like especially if Gujarat is batting second, then I don't think so. You pick him at all. But if they are batting first, just because of the innings he played in the previous game, that might also bring some recency bias while thinking.
Yeah.
Never know where he comes, right? Like early 2 wickets, he might just walk out at four.
Yeah.
You don't.
And yeah, and
So yeah,
Hardik is sort of like that captain, right? He's not that selfish captain. He's shown it again and again that he trusts, and that he'll be okay coming three down, four down himself, and he's
no,
okay that way.
I think Hardik plays himself to come around the eighth, ninth over, not before that.
Yeah,
Like typically, and so if they have two early wickets in the first 3 overs, we might well see a Vijay walking in. So that way, batting first, I think if you really want to cover up in your leagues, you may go for it. But as you rightly said, right, like if you're not a top four batsman playing a long term season, you generally don't tend to go for such players. So yeah,
yeah,
will not be a good buy for me, but yeah, can be an excellent.
yeah. Who else comes to mind? There's one more name who has three greens, right? That's Alzari. Um,
Absolutely.
I think he's again that kind of player who it sort of reminds me, if you remember, of McLennigan. Like he used to take
Yeah,
2 wickets every game, but you just don't really think of him in fantasy somehow. But yeah, I mean, 2 wickets every game looks like a guy, who gets those scrappy wickets. Um, I think he's a good X factor for sure.
yeah, he's a good, especially when he bowls in tandem with Rashid, right? Like I've seen the batsmen tending to go more to attack Alzari than Rashid,
Yeah,
and that's where Alzari actually becomes lethal and gets those wickets. And he's also bowled death, right? He's bowled in the death couple of times. So yeah, he gives you that 1 over, might start giving you 2 overs also in death, especially if Shami bowls out, say during power play, 3 overs or 4 overs. Then yeah, I think Alzari is someone you can consider as an X factor.
yeah,
He'll
hmm,
not be in many scores.
yeah. Who else comes to mind? Who do you avoid in this setup?
I think for now, I'll be avoiding Tewatia continues to be avoided.
Yeah,
Miller I would avoid. Right now it's not required much. I think Gill is in a top form. Sai Sudarshan is in extremely good form. I see a Hardik walking out. Miller coming out just to finish the games maybe because he showed that role. So Miller right now is an avoid for me. And yeah, I think not much there other
yeah.
than that.
Do you think Brar gets a game still?
I think Brar might not get a game. I feel that's a change that might happen in today's game. A Rishi Dhawan or someone might sort of come in and both Rathi and Rishi play instead of a Brar. That is a good possibility according to me in today's game because Brar has not shown anything. He was a decent bat during under 19 days, but his batting looks like completely down the hill.
Yeah,
So he's not going to add much value there. And Mohali, I'm not sure how much it's going to favor the spinners.
yeah,
So we have to see. I think yeah, Brar is someone I would avoid it this time.
yeah.
And uncapped, I would just have. Anyways, I have Sai Sudarshan,
Yeah, I think
and
Sai
I
Sudarshan is the obvious pick. And yeah, that's a good. Speaking of uncapped, right? Who's your next pick? I see two good picks in Prabhsimran
Punjab.
and Jitesh, right? Both are good youngsters. Both are aggressive. I think both have their own advantages in the sense that Prabhsimran opens and Jitesh keeps. Um, what do you think? My opinion, like Prabhsimran versus Shami is just a battle that doesn't excite me. I feel like, yeah, I just see him lose his wicket in the first two because he's just so. I mean, his role, that's his role as well, right? To go and go gung ho in the power play. So yeah, I would rather go Jitesh. I think I really like that guy. Jitesh seems like a very sorted guy. Even his
Yeah,
interviews, he's a very mature player. He keeps wickets, of course, which is
and he's due one, right? He had a great
one.
season last year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I
My
think
only concern, my only concern with Jitesh right now is with if Livingston plays today and Shikhar Dhawan and say a Short or a Rajpaksa play those 8-9 overs, I don't see him getting that many overs. Whereas a Prabhsimran, if he survives Shami, he might score you a good 30 of like 15, 16. Just
yeah,
as an uncapped pick, banking those 40, 50 points uh, is good. Like so that way, Jitesh, I'm not sure because that is what we have to see, like how their batting order is. Is Livingston slotted at four? So maybe at toss, I will make this last minute decision if I'm going between these Punjab uncapped players.
yeah. What is the situation with Rajapaksa, by the way? He's fit to play today. I'm not sure.
What I had heard was he had sort of said to Dhawan that he feels his wrist is not up to the mark the
Yeah,
previous game. So it was more of a precaution. So that way, with Short failing in that innings, if Rajpaksa is fit, there is no doubt he straight away walks back to that number three role.
yeah,
But I still have concerns around his fitness. We'll have to wait for the toss.
yeah. Cool. I think we've covered most of the players then.
Yeah,
What about captaincy, vice captaincy? A lot of options. What's the
very.
take on the pitch? Like, how is that um, factoring into your decision?
Mohali is like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of a pitch. Sometimes it's like completely batting friendly. You have seen some of amazing KL Rahul innings when he was in Punjab colours, and you have also seen sluggish matches 160. So I would actually be very, very closely watching the toss today because I am not very sure. But then if I have to just back a captain right now, it has to be both Shekhar and Gill. They both are in absolutely great form. They are anchors of their innings. I don't look beyond them actually right now, unless the pitch throws me something different. Then
Yeah,
I would look for a maybe even Arshdeep or a Hardik, Rashid also, of course. But yeah, but as of now, if I have to just do my captaincy pick right now, I would do Ashik and Gill.
yeah. But is Hardik still in your consideration? I feel like he's
He,
sort of slipped out of my consideration set, at least for the near term. Um, he's like with the bat, I just don't see him as a threat at all. Um, with the ball again, I don't think he's gotten a wicket right so far. And
Yeah, yes.
uh, I mean he's bowling, but yeah, I mean it's Hardik at the end of the day, but I think there are better picks in this game.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Hardik would be not a immediate captain for me right now. But then with Hardik, you never rotate that one good match and he gives you that 200 plus points.
That's true.
And if he's well rested last match. So that way, if Gujarat is batting first, I might be tempted a bit because while Punjab is chasing, they might try to attack and Hardik can get wickets.
Yeah.
So only if Gujarat is batting first, maybe I consider him. If they are bowling first, then yeah, I would not pick Hardik.
Yeah. I mean, one more thing is his injury. I don't know if it was precautionary, how serious it was, but Gujarat have good bowling options as well, right? So if he's not 100% back, 100% fit, you might not even see him with the ball or see just an over.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good point actually. Yeah. So Hardik's bowling might not be that much in this game. Yeah, that's a good point. Agree.
Cool. I think that covers our overall fantasy picks. But what if we had to pick 11 for Dream 11, right? We sort of have that on our screen here. I think a lot of names just pick themselves. Gill, Sai Sudarshan, Shikhar Dhawan, Rashid Khan, Shami, Arshdeep, Hardik, Karan, Livingstone. I think these nine are pretty irreplaceable, right? Like, uh,
Agreed.
yeah, unless you're obviously going with your gut, but this is what like form and stats and history has shown us. What about differentials? I think there are a lot of interesting differentials, and we've laid out three for each team based on who bats first. So if Punjab bat first, I think that means that Gujarat bat second, and that means there's a killer Miller waiting to bat who has a 150 20 strike rate, I think. Sorry, 120 average while chasing at a 150 strike rate. So he's a different beast while chasing. Um, uh, and
And
Alzari,
Alzari is,
yeah,
yeah, we spoke about Alzari having those like trying to attack while Punjab is batting first, get those middle over wickets. So
yeah,
yeah, Alzari is a great pick if Punjab is batting first.
yeah. And one outside punt we have is Jitesh. Just because while batting first, he will come up, he'll come two down. With Prabh Simran being the player he is, with basically he, he'll come in at in those overs, get a few. So I think that there's potential for him to get some runs. He's a quality player. And similarly, if GT bat first name we have is Vijay Shankar, who again is um, proven worthy to be on this list from
True, true,
being
true.
nowhere.
Because a Miller, as you rightly said, maybe bats above him while they are chasing and bats below him while they are batting first. So yeah, I think Vijay is a good shout out.
Second name is Saha. We haven't discussed him. No surprises there. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think Saha is someone always on the periphery. Like if you are looking for a keeper and your squad badly needs a keeper, you get Saha because he's that kind of player who'll give you those 40, 50 points, right? He'll rarely
But do you think he
give
has
you
a
less
big
than
one
that.
in him this season?
I really
Would you
don't.
bet that he scores 180 plus sometime? Because he's just shown it, right? Like he looks so good. He'll score
Hmm.
some beautiful fours and then you'll be like, wow, and then he'll be out. Uh,
I think that's his role because he's not going to play those long innings. His role is to just like allow Gill to anchor and whatever he can just go berserk, like what something like what a Prabh Simran does for Punjab. But because he takes away your transfer, right? Like Saha is not an uncapped buy.
yeah.
That's what makes me a bit suspect to him. But if they're batting first, I think it's a good gamble because he has no pressure. And while an other team is chasing, they might try to attack or rush it. He gets some keeping stumping points. So as a fantasy pick, Saha can be good X factor for your team if they are batting first for Dream 11 especially. But yeah, otherwise, I would not go for it.
Yeah. And the last name, if he plays, Rabada. Again, he's slowed down this, that, but I think over the last three seasons, he's the He's among the like highest wicket takers, if not the highest wicket taker. So he's a good pick. If GT bat first, if he's bowling at the death, I think he's a very good pick.
He will bowl at the death if Rabada is playing. That's Rabada, been for DC, been for Punjab. So yeah, I think Rabada is a very good last minute buy because still, though people wait for the toss, not everyone does. And if you have that sort of time or you are able to, that's a very good buy if Rabada is playing. You can
Yeah,
keep a close eye.
cool. I think that pretty much covers it. So Dream 11 is the squad. Um, yeah.
I think it'll be an exciting game. Yeah, I see Punjab really giving Gujarat a run for their money today. I have a
Yeah, if
feeling.
Punjab wins, like the table also is just so wide open. I mean, everyone sort of
Yeah,
1-2 lost one, or 1-2 lost two, or 1-3 lost one. So like it's pretty close. It'll be
other than Delhi, yeah, I think other than Delhi, most of the teams look like they are with a shout. They have shown some chinks in the armor, but every no team is looking like going to run away this year. Every team has shown that sort of that they are suspect. Gujarat actually before the Rinku heroics looked like a team which did not have any chinks.
yeah,
But now we have to see how they cope up today with Punjab Test. If they come out, I think they look the best team so far.
yeah. All right. Let's see how it goes, and we'll all the best for the game, and see you tomorrow.
All the best, guys.